Hello everyone, welcome to the session. We have discussed a lot of things over the last 5 sessions. Let us quickly do a recap of whatever we have discussed for the last 5 sessions, in the last 5 sessions, and then we are going to take this discussion forward. Okay. So I want to go here. Yeah. We have discussed that Python was introduced to the world by the guy by name Guido van Rossum. And officially Python was released for the world to access on 20th Feb 1991. You have a few features from C, which are called as functional programming features. Object-oriented programming language features from C++, scripting language features from Perl and Shell script, modular programming language features from Modular 3, all of these are included in Python. Then if we ever discuss, then we have something called as compiler and interpreter. We will talk about that later, not at this point of time. The modes of Python also we'll talk about it later. Then we have data types. When it comes to data types, we have numbers. Within numbers, we have integers, floating point values, and complex numbers. Then we have Boolean type, true, false. Then we discussed about sets, dictionaries, and when it comes to sequence data, we have strings, lists, and we have tuples. These are the various things that we have. Here are a few shortcuts when it comes to using Jupyter Notebook. Then we got into variables. We discussed about a few basics about how variables should be defined, how variables can be accessed, how they should be amended, deleted, whatever. All the operations pertaining to variables. We spoke about keywords or reserved words. We know for a fact that keywords or reserved words cannot be used as variable names. Then we have identifiers, statements and expressions. We discussed about this. How to declare a variable, what we need to take care of. We understood that spaces should not be given. You cannot start a variable with a number. Variable name cannot be a number. And we cannot have special characters when it comes to variables. Then we have operators, like you have arithmetic operators, comparison operators, assignment, logical, membership, identity, bitwise. All of these operators we have discussed. Arithmetic operations or operators include plus, minus, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus, which will give you remainders, exponential. Then we discussed about comparison operators, wherein we have equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, right? Greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, all these are called as comparison operators. Then we have assignment operators. We looked at the abbreviated representation of operators. So C plus equal to B, that means C equal to C plus B. Then we spoke about logical operators. When it comes to logical operators, we spoke about and we spoke about or operator, right? And an or operator. These are called as logical operators. Then we discussed about identity operators, where you can use the terms such as is not, etc. Boolean type, anyways, we are by now aware of true, false, types. Then we discussed about membership operators. That means is a specific value part of another value. This is what we are discussing. Okay, then here you have a lot of operators, right? All these things. Precedence. What is the order in which the operators are evaluated when you have multiple operators? This is also another thing that we have discussed about. Data types, of course. Numbers, Boolean, integers, float, Boolean types. Then we discussed about list. When it comes to list, we know that we need to have square brackets in which you can define all the various elements or items. Okay, and these are mutable. Each and every element of a list has an index number and it is mutable, meaning it can be replaced, removed, you can do various things. Insert, extend, etc. And when we ran this line, we got some result wherein the values kept on getting into infinite loop. To explain that, it would take some more time. So, affirmatively, in this week, we will discuss in these next 5 sessions, or in the 5 sessions after that, we shall discuss. Right? Let us get some good handle. Later on, we can think about making any modifications. Okay. Then we have seen the help. Help is a function which would give you a lot of information about variety of data types, about certain functions, etc. Then we spoke about tuples. Tuple is immutable, cannot be changed. Once created, you cannot delete the elements of that, etc. Here you use the regular brackets. Okay, and yep, when you try to delete a tuple, it says you cannot delete because tuple is immutable. You created that, done. It will remain like that in the memory. Tuples usually we use when we don't want people to do any accidental deletion as well. Then you have Python data types in which you have sets. When it comes to sets, you'll have your regular brackets and within that square brackets, and then you define your elements in the set. Elements in the sets are unordered. Since they are unordered, you will not have any index number. That means you cannot say that in this normal set, if I say normal set of 0, it would not refer to A because there is no order here. When you printed the values of that, you got B, A, and C. So it got printed in a different sequence. Frozen set is immutable. Whereas a regular set is mutable, meaning you can add values to it. But in a frozen set, you cannot add values. We looked at union of sets, intersection of sets. We looked at if, else if, and else statements. If statement, if else, if, so on and so forth. Then we have looked at dictionaries. Dictionaries again will have flower brackets or curly brackets. And dictionaries are also unordered. Sets and dictionaries are unordered. But here you have key value pair. That means you'll have a key and you'll have values pertaining to that. You'll have a key, you'll have the values pertaining to that. This is also something that we have already discussed. Post that, we discussed about strings. Strings can be represented using single quotes or double quotes or triple quotes. That means 3 double quotes. This is what we have discussed, and I believe here is where we go. Yep. Here is what we do, right? So here in this function, we are defining the name as Python, and we have discussed all these things, swapping the case, lowercase, uppercase, and capitalization, etc. We already discussed. Now let us look at the next set of functions. Before that, let me go to 360digitmg.com, and you have a mind map here. If you do a drop down, you have something called as Python programming fundamentals. You have all of these. Right? You have the history, you have the various features, then you have variables in Python, what are the various conditions, then the types of operators, bunch of these, you have all of them. Data type, numeric, non-numeric. Okay, and this is what we are talking about. Non-numeric, right? Then you have sequential data in which you have list, tuple, set, and dictionary. We discussed about a list. What are the operations that you can perform? We discussed about tuple. What are the operations one can perform? Set, dictionary, a bunch of things. So I highly recommend you to read this, friends. Right? So expand it and keep reading so that you remember. Second most important thing is, please ensure that you practice. No matter how many days you see this, you'll not be able to remember otherwise. Okay. So let us run this. To make the string at center, okay, you do this. You say that here is the name. This variable called name is assigned Python. When you say name dot center of 50, you'll have 50 total spaces, and at the center you have this Python. So you have 50 different spaces, and in the middle you are having Python. If I were to create a name or create a variable and assign a value Python, but you are putting it in single quotes and you are giving a lot of spaces. If you want to strip off all these spaces, strip means if you want to get these removed, then you can use this inbuilt function called strip. It is going to strip off all the white spaces. So let me run this. So what happened here? When you say name.strip, it's taking this name, complete thing. It is stripping off all the white spaces and then giving you the output, which is exactly this. Here, once again, we are taking the same variable, same name is assigned. Name dot left strip. So you want to get rid of the left side. However, the right side, whatever spaces we have, are remaining as is in the output if you see within single quotes. So strip means it is going to strip all the white spaces. All spaces would be removed. When you say left strip specifically, only the left side would be removed completely. If you say right strip, this entire right side would be stripped off. but the left side space is remaining as is. Left side is remaining as is, right side is remaining. Yeah. We are creating a variable called string, and using this assignment operator, you are assigning this to the string, this text to the string. Prasad is Python program. And you are creating another variable using assignment operator. You are assigning P to this. Then when you say string.count, in this string, you want to count what? Substring. So within the substring, if you give P, in this string, you want to count how many times you have P. This can be also written as string.count of P. Substring is P. So it would traverse this entire string and it is going to count number of times P appears. How many times P appears here in this string? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. So this P appears 3 times. If you say, show me what is a count, it doesn't show you. Because if this was the last line, it would have shown you the count. For example, we did not have anything here. And if you were to run this, it will say that the count is 3. That means this P, which is a substring, is appearing 1, 2, 3 times. However, if you use this function print, what are we doing? We are saying the count is, and then you're putting a colon. Whatever you put in the double quotes would exactly get printed onto the output. Here in the output, you will see the exact thing. So the count is, and you're saying count. What is the count here? 3. So it will say the count is 3. Whatever you write in the double quotes exactly get printed in print statement, comma, what else do you want to print? I want to print the count, and we know that count as 3. So it is displaying that. This portion is printed as is, and the count is 3. The 3 is getting printed. Then we have count number of occurrences of a given substring using start and end. In this function called dot count, which is an inbuilt function. Again, if I were to tell you, within Python, when it comes to functions, you'll have built-in functions. Okay. And then you'll have user-defined functions. Okay, you have built-in functions and user-defined functions. These are all built-in functions. Functions are, I mean, someone else has written the code and they're putting that in a function and giving it to you. What we are doing is reusing that. Everything cannot be written from scratch, right? It cannot say that I'm going to reinvent everything. We will reuse certain things. Okay. So what is happening here? String. You have this complete string. When you say string dot count, it is going to count within the string a substring. Substring is p. So it will just give you how many times p appeared. However, you are putting a condition here. Count this substring by starting at index number 8 and ending at index number 12. So let's count. How many times? Okay, this is index number 0, index number 1, index number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this becomes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is this. So start at this 8. Blank spaces are also one index number. Then 9, this space is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And within this range, how many times do you see p? Because substring is p. So count within the string. What should I count? How many times p appear? But in the string, look at the start of the index and end of the index. Okay, look at the start of the index, end of an index, and see how many times p appears. And store it and count. If we did not have the print statement, and if you run it, this count will count how many times p appears in between index number 8 to 25, and it will give the results. It is storing the results in count. When you say count, it shows the result. However, you can make it look a little better. The output can be a little better. So you are giving a print function and you're saying that I want this, the count is. Whatever you put in double quotes will appear as is in the output, comma, count. This count already you know that it has 2. So this is what is printed. The count is, the count is. So it's getting printed as this. Here you have count, just 2. That 2 is up here. Next, you are creating another variable and you are assigning alphabets, this high 34, some alphabets and numbers. If you give alphabets and numbers, it becomes alphanumeric. So some alphanumeric values are getting assigned to a variable. When you say what is the type of this? What is the type of this? It will say that it is a string. And you're saying print the results onto the screen. So whenever you use print, the results get printed onto the output. So when you say print, it would say that the class is string. This is a string. Whenever you put something in single quotes or double quotes or triple double quotes, it would treat that as a string. And then here you are saying print if this variable is alphanumeric. AL for alpha, NUM for numeric. You are saying print this dot is alphanumeric. Is this alphanumeric is what you're asking. Yes, you have alphabets also, you have numbers also, so it's alphanumeric. So all you do is you go ahead and print it. And you're printing it as true. Yes, true, it is alphanumeric. Next, you're creating another string, and you're naming it as NUM. I mean, you're assigning it using assignment operator equal to a variable number. Here, when you say number is alphanumeric, it would say, no, I see that there are alphabets, but do you have any numbers in this? We do not have any numbers, but all these are alphabets. So you're asking, is this alphanumeric? Do you have alphabets and numbers? The answer is no. So you get false. Answer is false. Now, since this is a last line, the results of this get printed onto the output. Even without a print function, even if you do not have a print function, and if this is the last line, it gets printed onto the output. But anything, if it is not the last line, and if you do not have a print function, it will not print the results onto the output. Next. We are creating a variable using assignment operator. We are saying this is within double quotes. And then you are saying print, and you're asking this variable, is this alphabetic? Not alphanumeric. Is it alphabetic? Alphanumeric. Here you're asking, is it alphabet? Yes, all of these are alphabets. So what do you expect here? You expect it to say that true, all of these in NUM are alphabets. Then you're creating this. This is string example. And you're assigning it to a variable called num. Then when you say print num is alpha, means do we have alphabets in this? No, we have alphabets and also numbers, so it is alphanumeric. Okay, this is what alphanumeric. And you're assigning it to a variable, and you're asking, does this variable have alphabets only? Answer is no. It has alphabets and numbers. So the result would be false. Run this and see what the results are. Next. You are creating a variable. This time you are putting digits in this specific string. Whenever you use a single quote or double quote or triple double quotes, it's called as a string within that. Here, these are string of numbers. When you say, and you're assigning it to NUM, when you say type of NUM, and when you say print the type, that means it is a string. You're saying this is string. Then when you say print this NUM is digit, you're asking, is this a digit? The answer is yes. So is digit means that's a digit, true. Next. Yes, you have digits. That's why it's saying 2. Number. This is a string example. I mean, you're putting in again double quotes, string. And you are asking a question, is this variable having digits? Is digit available in this? Answer is no, there are no digits. So it will tell you answer is false. Next. We can also run this and see the result. Next, we are creating another variable and you are assigning using this assignment operator this entire string to this object. Sorry, to this variable or object, anything. It is string example, is really a string, is some string is written, some text is written in that. Now when you say, go to this variable called reply and replace wherever you have an is with was. Replace wherever you have is with was. And then print the results onto the screen. So when you do that, you get this. Is replaced with was. So was string example. Again, wherever you see is, it will get replaced with was. Was really a string. Again, you have is, it will get replaced with was. Is will get replaced with was. Is will get replaced with was. So wherever you have is, it will get replaced with was. Now, if I were to combine this with this, some combination, and if I were to run it, then if you find is, it will replace even that with was. It need not be a separate word altogether. If that appears like Paris, France capital is Paris. Let me give just like that. So what did it do? In Paris, it's replacing is with was. You can, the reason why I type this is because if it starts replacing in this way, it doesn't make sense. Only if it is a different word, if you replace is as was, makes sense. However, within Paris also you have is. If that also gets replaced with was, then that's not a good thing. That is not a good sign. Hence, we need to understand a few additional things. Slowly and steadily we'll learn, friends. Rome was not built in a day. It takes time for you to practice Python programming and then get to some level of expertise. Okay, next. Here, what are we saying? We are saying, go to this reply, which has all these string, dot replace. What do you want to replace? You want to replace is with what do you want to replace that? I want to replace this with was. And in how many places do you want to replace? Maximum 3 places. Only replace in the first 3 positions. What do you want to replace with? What do you want to replace that with? What do you want to replace it? With what? I want to replace is with was. How many? First 3 entries. First 3 entries you want to replace with was. So if you replace is with was here, the first one gets replaced. Only 3, first 3, right? Again, you have is in the second position, so that also will get replaced with was, 2 positions. And again, I have is, so I'm going to replace. Okay, let me run this. It's because now we change this to Paris, right? So first it replaces here in the first position. Second, it replaces here in the second position. Third, here also you have is, there also it gets replaced. That's a 3 because you want only in the first 3 places. That is what you're mentioning here within replace. Now, when you say colon dot join, whatever is there in reply. What this does is join function. Whatever information you have, whatever text, string, whatever you have in this reply, you take that entire thing and then you're going to join them, okay, join them with colon. So I gets printed, you're joining it with colon, then T, then colon, then space, then colon, then I, then colon, then S colon, then space colon, then S colon, so on and so forth. So this join is going to join each and every index value. Each and every index value, index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Space is also going to have one index number, just remember. So all these index numbers will have these values. And what you're doing is we are replacing these values with, sorry, we are joining those values with a colon. Okay, next. Sorry. What we are doing here is we are saying that we are going to create another string within double quotes, and using assignment operator, you're assigning it to a variable called split1. To a variable called split1. Now, when you say take the split1, which is a variable name, variable names can be anything, friends. You can give any name of your choice. You can also say Bharani Kumar, Depuru, and any name can be given. That's okay, absolutely. So when you say split1 dot split, based on what? Wherever you have spaces. So if you look at this, what happens is it reads this, and then you have a space. The moment there is a space, it splits, and then you have this new line entry, and then you have a space. The moment you have a space, stop. Then you have a third. Okay. When you say here split, wherever I have a space, but only one time. Here, what are we doing? Replace is with was for the first 3 entries, 3 times. Here also, split it whenever you find a space, only one time. Next time, if you have a space, don't worry. First time when you have a space, split it, stop. So, when it traverses this, first time you have a space, that's it, it gets split now. So, you're splitting. So this becomes one element, and this entire thing becomes another element, because whatever spaces appear after that, it is not going to bother about it. It is not going to look into those aspects at all. Next, I'm creating, or we are creating rather, a different color, a variable called x, and using assignment operator, you are assigning some string to it. Something is written, x hyphen b spam hyphen confidence colon, something is written just for our practice. Now if you say x dot find at which index position you have colon, and then using assignment operator, you are assigning it to something called as POS. When you print what is there in POS, it should tell you at which position you have colon. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. At the 18th position, you have the colon. Next, what are you doing? You're printing all these hash. You're printing. Then what you're doing is, you're saying POS, this variable name called POS has 18. So 18 plus 1 is 19. So in this quotes, you're saying 19 colon. So what it does is, if this is 18, this entire thing is 19. From 19th index onwards, print everything. Colon, and then if you leave it blank, then you want everything. If you say colon 3, from the starting index number until the last number is ignored, so until 2, it gets printed. So 0, 1, 2. These three get printed. If you say 3 colon, from third index number until the end, it gets printed. So here, since POS already has 18, you're saying 18 plus 1, which is 19, 19 colon, meaning from 19th index number until the end, print everything. Okay, and then you're saying, while you print everything, ensure that you convert that into a float format. Integer means numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Float is 1.1, 2.68. If you have decimal values, it's called as float. Otherwise, it's called as integer. So you're converting that into a float and assigning it to a variable called num. Here you're saying print that num, whatever is in this, print it, and also print what is the type of that. So you're printing this entire thing, and you're saying type is float. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm yawning, but extremely sorry. Let me also charge this. Okay. Next, let us look at something called as tuple assignment. So we will read these sentences, and then when we run the piece of code, you'll understand these statements. We should not mug up, not by heart, right? We will read those, and when we do the practicals using the lines of code which are given underneath, you'll understand what each sentence means. So, multiple variables packed in a tuple can be assigned with values using a single assignment statement. For example, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, C equal to 30. Instead of individually running those, using a single statement, single line of code, you can do that. So 10 will get assigned to A, 20 to B, 30 to C. To the left of the assignment operator, that is, this is the assignment operator. To the left side of that, you'll have the tuple variables A, B, and C, and the right side of this assignment operator has numbers, values, tuple values. And each value is assigned to its respective variable. Each value is assigned to that variable. Each value is assigned to the variable. Each value is assigned to the variable. And note that the number of variables and the number of values must be the same size. That means if you have 3 here, here also you need to have 3. If you have 4 tuple values, how do you know this is a tuple? Tuple is always, values or elements of tuple would be in regular brackets. List will be in square brackets. This we are aware of, right? And set will have like this, right? And then I think dictionary would be like this. Anyways, we spoke about all that. We'll just recap. So here you have 4 variables of a tuple. However, when it comes to assignment of values, you have only 3. So it will throw an error. It will say need more than 3 values to unpack. 1 will get assigned to this, 2 will get assigned to this, 3 will get assigned to this. But what about P? There should be some value, right? So on both sides, to the left and the right of the assignment operator, you need an equal number of values. Okay, let's do this. Here, we are assigning X a value 2. We are assigning Y a value 3. And when you say print X comma Y, you'll have 2 and 3. X is assigned 2, Y is assigned 3. Then you can do all these things, swapping the values. Okay, you can swap the values. I'm saying I'm going to assign X to a temporary value. Now let me do one thing. I think this should have come here. This is done. I'll run this. Here we need to have these values. So what I'm doing is I'm taking X, which is 2, and assigning it to TMP. Now TMP has what? The value 2. You're taking Y value 3 and assigning it to X. So X value will be equal to 3. Now what you're doing, you're taking this temp value, which is 2, and assigning it to Y. So Y will become 2 because temp is 2. Now what happened? X became 3, Y became 2. When you print X comma Y, it will say 3 comma 2. X becomes 3 and Y becomes 2. Then X is equal to 2, Y equal to 3. When you say print X comma Y, it will print these values. But then when you do this part, I'll bring it to the next line so that it'll be easier for us to understand. If you say, I want to assign Y value to X and I want to assign X value to Y. So what are we doing? In a single line, instead of running, these 3 lines of code, we are using a single line accomplishing the task. So if you say X equal to 2, Y equal to 3, this Y, which is 3, would get assigned to X, and X value, which is 2, would get assigned to Y. I mean, you say print X comma Y, you get 3 comma 2 because now Y becomes, 3 is assigned to X, 2 is assigned to Y. This is a simple way of swapping the values, and various other operations can be performed. Why are we doing all these things? Because when you want to build a web application, okay, or if you want to do anything pertaining to data analytics or data science, right, then you will write various lines of code, and these kind of lines of code also should be added into the code programming. So when you understand all these things in bits and pieces, 2 things happen. One is you know what is a tuple, how you can swap the values and all that. Two, you're slowly and steadily getting used to programming language, Python programming. And also there's another benefit, that is when you actually end up building a mobile application or a web application or some application, then or data analytics, data science, AI stuff, machine learning, whatever, then all these things you might have to use in those applications that you're going to develop. Now, we still have some time, 10 minutes, so we will get into the next discussion also. Circulate the values of n numbers. What does this do? Let's understand. If n equal to 1, given the list of numbers, and given that the list of numbers are to be rearranged by circulating them based on the value n, and then for example, if n equal to 1, then say rearrange the numbers with starting index as 1. That is, the number at index 0 will be moved to the end. If n equal to 2, then rearrange the numbers with starting index as 2, so on and so forth. Right? Whatever is the text. Let us run the lines of code and then understand. So, I'm saying I want a list of inputs, and you're saying enter the list, which will get assigned to A. Then you're saying print A. So let me run it first. So here you can give the numbers 1. So 1 gets printed. Say 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 gets printed. If you run 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 list of elements got created. If you now say arrange the order of numbers based on the number, let's see how this works. For I in range of these numbers, range means if you say range of, for example, I want to have range of numbers from 1 to 10, comma 1. Assume. So 1 is the start, 10 is the end. This 1 is an increment. In what increments do you want to do that? That's what it means. So 1 and 10, right? If you want range of numbers, so it will start with 1. 1, if you increment it with 1, it becomes 2. If you increment 2 with 1, you get 3. If I increment 3 with 1, you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At 9, it stops because the last number is ignored. What are the 3 things? Once again, I kept saying that you need to remember within Python. Within Python, indexing starts with 0. Point number 1. Indexing starts with 0. Point number 2. The last number is ignored. That means if you say 0:3, this 3 is ignored. If you say print the numbers in the range of 0 to 10, 10 is ignored. So the last number is ignored. What is the third point that we need to remember? If you want to refer to the last element, last column, last value, you refer to that using -1. Refer to the last value using -1. Okay, this is how it works. So if you say length of A, here you printed what is there in A. When I say what is the length of A, okay, let's see what it says. 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. It says that if you want me to print the values of A, these are the values. If you ask me what is the length of A, it is 4. So I have 4 elements. Okay. So here when you say range, you go to range function 1, comma, length of A is equivalent to 4, comma 1. 1 means in increments of 1. So 1, 2, 3, the last number is ignored. First number is 1. If you increase it by 1, it becomes 2. 2, if you increase it by 1, it becomes 3. 3, if I increase it by 1, 4. But the last number is ignored, remember. And then this becomes an interesting print statement. Okay, this becomes an interesting print statement to print. But then I request you all to, for today, take this as a small homework. Try to run this line of code. What does this A1 colon I colon do plus A colon I? What does this do actually? Figure out. This is from starting number until ending number. This is from starting number until the I value. So think through on what it is going to do, but you know for a fact that you know the length of A and you want to increase it in increments of 1, right? 1 to 4 range. So if I in range of 1, so I will be 1. So 1 colon, what will it print? Okay, think through index numbers, etc. This is related to index numbers. Think through and figure out and practice. And in the next session, when we connect, we are going to talk about this in further detail. All right. At this point of time, I want to talk about 2 things. One is we are on a daily basis posting questions on LinkedIn. Please answer those questions in the comment section. Answer in comments section of LinkedIn, whatever is a post. Also, please follow our page. You can follow 360 Digit MG page on LinkedIn because we keep posting a lot of things. As I've told you, we are coming up with data science foundation, okay, as part of the next month's schedule. So you all can reap the benefits. You all will be notified about that on our social media page. And once you answer all the comments as promised, we'll look at that. And then we will give you an opportunity to get a certificate from NASSCOM and 360 Digit MG, joint certificate, that you have attended this specific session. In addition to that, I will give you all an opportunity to earn 1,000 rupees, 1,000 Indian rupees. But be active and then follow the page, answer all the comments. And also please subscribe to our YouTube channel because the next set would be very interesting, the Data Science Foundation. Then the month after that, we have planned a lot of interesting things for you all. So please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until then, thank you so much. We'll connect again in the next session and take this discussion forward. Thank you all, friends. Bye until then.